Hello, everyone. Okay, so today we're going to cover chapters 11 and 12. More or less, we're going to cover the fillet command, scamper. We've already covered the trim, and so, but we'll go over trim. Also, we're going to cover chapter 12, the mirror command, which we've gone over the mirror command, and we're going to cover the array. I know it's not showing in the objectives. Oh, yeah, it is. So down here, we're going to create patterns of objects using the array command. All right. Now, a lot of, you see, move, rotate, things of that nature. I'm not really going to go over those. You could see the videos that I've posted on the respective chapters, and it'll go over those commands in more details. I'm really wanting to highlight things that what you're likely going to see on the exam. So you can start, and I'm about to just really jump into problems. So let's see, I want to cover problem. So pages. Start with problem I want to say 4. Yeah, it's one of your homework problems. And all the homework problems are in inches. I denoted that on your homework assignment, which is due next Sunday. So, page. So this is the problem I want to start out with. It's fairly simple, but we're going to use the chamfer command to create this guy. Doesn't really denote the angle, but we know the depth. It's at a depth of 0.5, half an inch. And so if we make an assumption that it's at a 45-degree angle, that's how we read that chamfer. But let's go ahead and draw this problem first. All right, so I already have AutoCAD open. And just those of you just to keep in mind, you always want to type in units or what units you're in. As I've said, these problems are going to be in inches. So inches is good. Click start out with our line command. And that top line, thing you should know by now, F8 making it straight is 0.7. Yeah, straight to me. All right, and then I'm going to go down. We're going to drop down 1.125. Oh, sorry, not 1.125, but 1.2. Over. Looks like 2.5. Well, it's 3. Yep, over 2.5. Oh. So here is a chamfer, right? So obviously I'm not going to do the chamfer. I'm just going to drop down 1. Come back over there. And then the chamfer, come up here, drop down arrow near the fillet, click chamfer, and then it asks you to select first line. So I'll select this line, hit space, and then say the distance, and I'll say I'm gonna. So it says specify first chamfer. And so my first chamfer distance, I can say that it is 0.5. And so I go 0.5 space. And then it's going to say, well, specify the second distance. It's 0.5 space. And then it says select second line, which is this. Now, I'll bring this drawing back over here because it's a distance to this is 3.25. The full length is 3.75. So that lets you know that the distance between this point and this point is 0.5. And then you know that this height is 1 and the distance from this point to this point is 0.5. So that lets you know that this is a 45-degree angle and your drop distance is 0.5. So another way that you could have done this is by going to chamfer, selecting your first line, selecting angle, typing in 45 in space, and then you select your so I do angle length 0.5, and then specify chamfer angle from the first line is 45. And then it says second line or shift select. That's my second line. And then there it is. So do that again. I'll just delete it. It was taking forever. Trying to undo it. Just for those of you that may not have seen what I did. So I'll select my first line and I'll hit space. Then I'll select angle. And then it says specify the length on the first line, which is 0.5. So I hit space. Then it says specify chamfer angle. I'll type it in, but I already had it typed in, so I'll hit space. So if you don't have it typed in, you have to type it in, then hit space. Same with the length. If you didn't have 0.5, then you have to type in 0.5 and then hit space. And then it says select your second line, which this is second line, and then you're complete. So that's one way of doing it. The other way to do it is just select distance, and you're just going to type in your distance from both for both lines. So you'll have 0.5 here, 0.5 in the vertical, so, which makes it a 45-degree angle. And that's pretty much it for that. You'll make your little circle here in the center, and you'll dimension it and submit that problem as a PDF. So that's pretty much it for chapter 11. What else did I say? Chapter 11. I know I said trim. We will trim again, but trim is quite simple. You just select trim, and that's easy, right? All right. Another thing I know you're probably wondering, well, what about chapter 10? Chapter 10 is just going over single line text. So don't worry about chapter 10. I'm not going to give you any problems. I would review some of the videos just on creating single line text. just for your information only. So just more or less FYI. All right, let's see. We've got another problem in chapter because what I want to talk about also is ability. Let's look at problem number 6, which is also in inches. Oh, actually, problem 6 is in millimeters. So I'll update that on your homework. So we're gonna go here, units, millimeters. Click OK. Ready. So the easiest way to start this is by drawing 2 circles. 2 circles. Well, I'll just draw it, but I was going to show you. I'll show you. I'll show you how to draw a fillet on the other one, but it really works the same way as the chamfer. Not really, but we'll go over no worries. But I'm going to start this problem number 6. um, and the best way to start this is by drawing a circle right in the middle, which is 13.5 millimeters in diameter. So that would make it 6.75. In radius. And the circle that I have is it's asking me to specify my radius. So my radius would be 6 point. Yeah. Now I have another circle, and I can make an engineering assumption that both of those circles are at the center. The centers are concentric, and so this radius would be 13. And then I can draw a line, tangent, tangent. Right, I could draw a line here, and I don't know how far out it needs to be, right? So just bring it out so far. Doesn't really matter. But just so far, and the problem that I'm doing is problem number 6, this one. But what we do know this. Well, if I come down, and click that in the center, and I drop down. So F8 make it straight. I'm gonna drop down 25.5. I'm gonna come over 40. Hit escape, and then I know there's a circle there. And I know the diameter of that circle is 10. So the radius is 5. And then I also know there's another radius that's 10, which would mean the diameter is 20. And I can make an engineering assumption that that the centers are concentric. So I'll click diameter and I'll just make it 20. And then voila. And so something you can do here is you could go, I'm going to select this line, and then I'm going to take my F8 off, and I'm going to type in tangent. Voila. magnifique. And so I have that. Look at this. Look at select that. This, this, and then I go mirror. And I go about this point, and then I say no. Ah, magnifique. And if I come here, hit the drop down arrow, grab tan radius. And I want the circle tangent to this, tangent to that, and a radius of 49. Wham, bam, thank you, man. And then I can use the trim command again, again, and again, and then again, and then again. And then presto, you're done. Oh, well, I mean, aside from dimensioning it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's problem 6. And I showed you how to do mirror, and I showed you how to use the trim command, along with a few of the circle commands. All right, now fill it. Now, if you come back here and fill it, I know we've discussed this before, but um, I don't know if I gave you a problem to do a fill it, but just keep it in mind. Fill it is you'll select your first line, you hit space, you'll select radius here at the bottom, you type in what radius you want it to be. I'm going to say 0.125, which is 1/8. And then it asks you to select your second line. And then there it is. It creates a round. So fill it just creates a round as an edge. And I know we discussed that before. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And you can do it again. So I select hit space. Space takes me back to the last command I was in. And I can select that edge, radius, space, because I already have my radius in. So all I have to do now is just select my second line. And then you create a round within this edge too. So if I go space, space, and then select my second line, and now I got a round right there on that edge. And that's it. All right, chapter 12. Let's do some arrays. Oh, I want to work this problem with you. In chapter 12, one page. And I'm not gonna, obviously, I'm not gonna do all of it. But I want to do problem number 6. I'm not going to dimension it. So, yeah. So in other words, I'm just going to show you how to do the array portion. So the hole here. come up here, place a hole. All right, that's one hole. I'm not going to mention it, but I want to do an array. You click this drop down arrow. You have rectangle array, you have path array, you have polar array. You do a rectangular array. So I'll select that. And I'll hit space. And look, it populates all of this stuff that I don't. And if you come up here, you have 4 columns, 3 rows, 1 left. How many columns do I want? I want 1 column. So take that, make that 1 column. And then it says, how many rows do you want? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So make that 4 rows. So I wanted negative. So you can, you just gotta take it the other way. So drag that arrow downward, and then that allows you to flip your direction. Yeah, the distance between each one is 1. Now, I'm going to say -1. But the thing is, I didn't dimension, and I don't know what units I'm in either. So what I'll do is I'll come here, enter, back, type in units. And it says inches, so inches is good. So I'll click OK. What I'll do is edit my properties, because I don't know how big I made that hole, the circle rather. So it has my line spacing. So won't let me edit it because I've already created the array. So this is just going to show me the array. Now I would have to delete the array in order to. So I'll come back over and I'll make sure to do the circle. And it looks like it said 25. That'll be the one that I'll dimension. Come back, rectangular array. I'll select it, enter. And again, I want 1 column, 4 rows, negative. Negative. Now, that doesn't look like -1, does it? But it's okay, we can measure it. Let's see, so click that. And it is. It's exactly 1. And so I must have chosen the wrong. I think I did. I think I made the diameter of these 1, and the diameter should be 25. So, but you kind of get the gist of how to do it. So if I come back over here and I edit it, since I didn't do this correctly, I made it 25. I'm going to make it space between. No, 2. -2, since I made the diameter 1. All right, now you got a better spacing. And then, and remember, rows, levels, only want 1 level. So say I want to do 2 rows. two columns rather. And the distance between the two columns, 2.375. So now it's 2.37. And there you have that. Now, obviously, mine doesn't look correct because I didn't dimension it. So, but you would have to dimension it. And this is how you get your rectangular array. But another way you could do that, instead of doing that, you could leave that as a 1, right? And then you could just select all of this, select near, and if this was the halfway point, you click this point, come up to there, select no, and then you have your other half because this is symmetrical. So, and you could do it that way. Or you can do your rectangular. Really, it's up to you. And that's pretty much that problem. You have a couple more problems. I'm not going to work those. It should be fairly easy. Look at problem 15, which is on page 350. Now, I know you're probably going to look at this and you're like, oh, that's crazy. Well, not really. They give you the dimension of one of these teeth. All right, you have one tooth, 0.055. It's the center between those two lines there, and a total width is 0.110. You have 60 total teeth. So what do? You do one, and you're going to do a polar array of the rest. How would you do that? Well, let's look at that. So if I draw a circle, draw, annotate. Yep, there it is. Back to home. And come up here and draw me a little rectangle. Right. Mention that and that. 0.178. All right. So that's not what I want. So I'm going to delete that. Oh, do that. So I want that. So what I'll do, I'll come over here. If that's my center, I'll go 0.110 divided by 2, enter. And it doesn't like that. No, I don't like that. So 110, 0.055. Right? And then you're going to go down. It's at a radius. Yes, it does. If you look at your context clues, so it's like, man, what is that? How high is it up? Well, see, if you look at this, this is the front view of this gear. Yeah, it's like this gear. Then this is the right view of it. So it's telling you that this inner circle has a diameter of 5.690. And if you go to the right, it's giving you this upper edge because it's going to match. So that edge there matches this edge, so it lets you know the outer diameter. If this was a full circle, no teeth, outer diameter would be 6 inches. 6 inches. All right, so what I can do is if I dimension that, that would be 5.69 or 5.96 or whatever I said it was. What did I say it was? I said it was 5.69. And then the outer one would be, I'm not going to dimension it. Let you out of it. The outer one would be 6 in your case. All right. And so that's what the outer one would be. And so what you could do is what I was doing just then. You could come up here and just come up here and type in 6, whatever, and I'll just do it. And that's 6. And you could do it's asking for the radius, so 2.845. Okay, come up here. Over 0.855 down. And then I can do a mirror. This one and this one. Face. About that. Then I can trim that. And I don't know if I need, yeah. So then I could trim this. And then I can come here to array, drop down arrow, polar. Face. And it's going to ask me to specify my center point. That's my center point. And if you come up here, it says I have 6, so items I need is 60. There's 60. And then I can just come in here and do about 60 of these cuts. And so on and so forth. Get the gist. And that's how you do polar. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I'll update problem 6 from homework chapter 11. It's in the. But again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. All right. Thank you all for listening. Enjoy your day.